What's up with it, y'all? This KT with Straight Facts Boxing Talk. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. What's up with it, everybody? Today, we're going to talk about how Dana White, the president of the UFC, went on First Take on ESPN and he got all over Oscar De La Hoya. He went in on Oscar De La Hoya. He just basically straight disrespected that man. But he came with nothing but straight facts. You know, he exposed Oscar De La Hoya as the liar that he's always been. Now, before I play that clip, and I'm gonna let y'all hear exactly what he said, before I do that, do me one big favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and subscribe. Now give me 1 second while I go ahead and play this clip for y'all.
The other day, Dana, what's your response?
This guy is not a fan of facts, and we all know this. First of all, let me start by saying this. I paid Chuck Liddell more money not to fight than Oscar De La Hoya paid him to fight. All right, so the numbers that we paid him, you know, from 2011 to 2017, right up to when we sold the company, Chuck Liddell was making, $400,000 a year from the UFC. He made $250,000 to fight for Oscar De La Hoya. Then, the things that he was saying, he was on this show and on First Take and saying things like, we had guys, the first Chuck fight, Chuck only made $200,000 when he fought Tito Ortiz, and it did 1.5 million buys. The first fight, UFC 47, April 2nd, 2004, Chuck and Tito did 106,000 buys. Didn't do 1.5 million buys. Lie, not a fact. Then De La Hoya is claiming he pays everybody all this money. The total payout for athlete compensation for his show was $580,000. That's what all the fighters made for his show, right? Chuck and Tito took $450,000 of that money, all right? So if you exclude the main and co-main event for total athlete compensation for De La Hoya, he paid the rest of the card $95,000, right? The UFC, the same thing, we pay $1.2 million to everybody else on the rest of the card, excluding the main and co-main event. There's a guy named T-Bow who fought on his show. His last fight for us, he made 50 and 50. He made 10,000 and 10,000 fighting for Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya is not a fan of facts. And the thing about this guy is, it's one thing if you want to sit around with your friends and lie. Don't go on ESPN and lie. The guy's a liar. He's lying about the amount of buys he did. So I personally talked to Chuck Liddell myself, yesterday.
Yes.
I said, I'm just warning you, Chuck. I'm going out with numbers, your numbers and what you made. And
what did he say?
He said, I knew this was coming. I knew you were going to do this. I can't believe this guy thinks he's going to say this and you're not going to come back. And I said, did you make more with his event than you made with the UFC? He said, no, that's a lie.
And I don't have numbers in front of me to verify what you're saying, and in no way am I questioning you. What I am going to ask you is, he's telling me, Oscar De La Hoya, that fighters that were fought for you are calling him now and asking to fight for him. Why is that?
The guy's a liar. Oscar De La Hoya is a liar. He has no facts. We can, listen, if Oscar wants to, we can get somebody from the pay-per-view industry or however he wants to do it. We can sit down with numbers. The reality is this guy doesn't know anything about his business. He just did an interview with a kid at TSN in Canada the other day. He didn't know what anybody was paid. He showed up to his own event at the press conference and didn't know any of the fighters' names. And what's even crazier is he didn't even write them down, put them on a piece of paper, you idiot, right? He didn't even write it down on a piece of paper. He says, I don't know any of these guys back here, but yeah, I'm sure the fights are going to be great and whatever. And the guy is an absolute liar. And listen, we can sit down and we can do this on TV. We can go head to head. We can also take drug tests if he wants to do that too. I'm ready to go. Let's go, Oscar. You idiot.
It's an interest.
Whoa, man. Dana White went in on Oscar De La Hoya. What y'all think about that? Me personally, I'm glad that Dana White went on there and said everything that he said about Oscar De La Hoya. exposing that man as the liar that he's been, and that he's been for years. You know, Oscar De La Hoya, he came on First Take a couple days before Dana White went on there, and he started the whole thing. You know, he went on there talking about how all of Dana White's fighters have been coming to him behind closed doors, begging Oscar De La Hoya to sign them to contracts because Dana White's not paying his fighters. And he had a lot to say about Dana White. You know, he tried to act like that he paid Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz way more than they had ever made with Dana White. And you hear Dana White exposed him as a liar and exposed that to not be the truth at all. And the thing with Oscar De La Hoya, you know, if you follow boxing and follow Golden Boy, you see he's not promoting nobody but Canelo. Who does he have on that roster? Richard Schaefer was the brains and the work behind the whole Golden Boy promotions when Golden Boy was on top. Golden Boy was on top at one point in time. And Richard Schaefer was the reason. Because you see, as soon as Richard Schaefer left, Golden Boy went downhill. You don't see Golden Boy putting on no big, huge events. The only big, huge events Golden Boy puts on is if it has to do with Canelo. Other than that, what big events are Golden Boy putting on that Canelo's not on the card? See, what happened is he didn't know how to run. Oscar De La Hoya didn't know how to run his business correctly. Once Richard Schaefer left, that was it for Golden Boy Promotions, basically. Because what Oscar De La Hoya did is he put all of his money into Canelo. And those other guys that he had on the roster, he just basically left them out in the cold. He don't promote his other guys. You know, they got Ryan Garcia. He does promote the young kid Ryan Garcia, but I mean, I don't see that kid as ever being as big as Canelo. But other than that, who does he have? You know, most people don't even know who's on the Golden Boy roster. That's why Golden Boy, you know, they had to take their services to DAZN. And that's basically what happened, because Golden Boy is steadily going downhill. And that's just the truth. Those are straight facts. And it's just funny how he thought that he was going to be able to go on there and build a narrative that he was paying, you know, Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, and that he's paying all those guys way more than Dana White has ever paid them. And Dana White went on there. Dana White wasn't having that. He went on there like, hold up. Let me come on there and expose this man, since he want to open up his mouth and run his mouth. And that's just what happened. You know, people forget that Richard Schaefer was the brains behind Golden Boy. You know, I didn't forget that. People forget, you know, that Golden Boy was at the top of the food chain at one point in time. And when I watched Oscar De La Hoya go on First Take, the main thing that I was tripping on is he tried to paint the narrative that Rocky Philhan, and if you're not familiar with who Rocky Philhan is, it's the opponent that Canelo's gonna face this Saturday. He tried to paint the narrative that Rocky Philhan was undefeated. You know, he went on there and told a bold-faced lie and said that Canelo was facing an undefeated champ named Rocky Philhan, the undefeated super middleweight champ, for the title. Now, Rocky Philhan is not undefeated. Rocky Philhan got knocked out in the first round by Callum Smith. But he went on there and he told a bold-faced lie that Rocky Philhan was undefeated. And the thing is that Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, they didn't even stop him, you know, and call him out on that lie. They just let him tell a bold-faced lie. But see, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, he's an idiot, but he ain't that big of an idiot, because see, I know what he was doing. he was trying to build a narrative to all the casual fans that don't really follow boxing like that. He's trying to build a narrative that, oh, Canelo's moving up in weight and he's fighting a guy that's never been beat before. So I know what he was doing. But you don't go on TV like that and just tell all those lies. And that's exactly what he tried to do, And good for Dana White, good for Dana White for going on there and exposing him. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Go ahead and hit the comment section. And before you do anything, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. Straight Facts Boxing Talk, and I'm out.